Absolutely, I think everyone does. But the first thing to say is, of course, I mean, the largest amount of killing that's happened anywhere on that continent in recent years, I'm thinking of the massacre, the genocide in Rwanda, was carried out by people wielding knives and machetes. So you don't need, as it were, high-caliber arms to commit, mass murder and genocide.
What's up, YouTube? Hope you guys are feeling good. My name is Elaru, and today I'm back with a new video and check out with you guys. This is called You're Dreaming. Douglas Murray School's British-hating Muslim activist. You know how it goes, guys. We talk less and we react more. Let's check this out.
Who would you sell arms to? Who would you sell arms to with a clear conscience?
I think that, for instance, somebody mentioned it earlier, it's perfectly responsible to say, yeah, absolutely, India, and many other countries.
It's broken so many international laws. They don't listen.
We're not going to get on your pet obsession of Israel.
No, I think it's
I try.
But the thing is this, as I say, there are people he will sell arms to who will be responsible governments like the British government and our allies. But there will be other tyrants who will turn them on their own people, and we should never...
Douglas Murray has never been one to shy away from telling the truth as it is. In this video, Douglas Murray takes on a panel of scholars on whether Britain should be trading arms and speaks what is on everyone's mind, but what most people are afraid to say. Douglas Murray did not hold back.
Queasy, our first big question. Should Britain be ashamed of its arms trade? This trade unionist says we should celebrate the Prime Minister's salesmanship because it generates billions in exports and thousands of jobs. New guidelines were on adoption and were issued on Tuesday by Michael Gove to encourage more interracial adoptions. He said left-wing prescriptions are denying children the love they need. Our next big question, should adoption be colourblind? This woman says being raised by a white family made her feel that being black was a bad thing. And our last big question is about something the Hindu and Sikh communities believe in, reincarnation. Have we all been here before? Douglas Murray, what do you think about this? It's a murky old business. Do you feel queasy when you see what's happening on the streets of these Middle Eastern countries to whom we have sold arms?
Absolutely, I think everyone does. But the first thing to say is, of course, I mean, the largest amount of killing that's happened anywhere on that continent in recent years, I'm thinking of the massacre, the genocide in Rwanda, was carried out by people wielding knives and machetes. So you don't need, as it were, high-caliber arms to commit, mass murder and genocide. But look, I mean, the arms trade is a legal trade, like tobacco and all sorts of other things which some people disagree with and don't like and so on. But it's a legal trade, and there are obviously times when you sell arms to people where it's perfectly good. It helps, as the gentleman said, to defend a government. On the other hand, of course, there are many cases, and Libya is an obvious one recently, where there's absolutely no way that Britain should be involved in trading with such a place. I mean, if this were, say, gun licensing in Britain, it's legal to own a gun and everything, but we don't sell guns to children or to madmen for a very good reason. And it should be the same thing in the arms trade.
But it was part of a broader strategic diplomatic perspective, because William Hague said it was part of encouraging Colonel Gaddafi to give up weapons of mass destruction.
Exactly. Libya came in from the cold on the WMD issue, and as a result, Britain loosened some of its exports to Libya.
Just this week, I went to visit Tunisia, and I met people there who were facing the bullets, who were facing the so-called crowd control mechanisms. People have been tortured, not just now. I know people are waking up to what's been going on in the Middle East, but these arms have been used to repress very consciously, very brutally, the very democratic processes we then go around the world saying we want these people to have. I think it is deeply immoral and deeply disturbing that this happens.
Who would you sell arms to?
So I don't think we should be encouraging the arms industry full stop. And the idea
but people need arms.
that British jobs are at risk, or that that they're actually providing something positive to the economy, actually is not true.
So the
arms industry.
So we shouldn't have a national army either?
May I finish? The arms industry actually is subsidised by us. It's not that they're providing jobs for British workers. We, the British public, are helping huge profits for a group of lobbyists, for a group of arms manufacturers who actually have a vested interest in more conflict in the world so they can make more profit. We should have an approach in this country which is about peace. Invest that money instead
in
renewable energy.
Just let me ask you, war is a reality, Salma. I mean, and your Prophet Muhammad, for example, he was a warrior. He fought lots sorts of battles. He had to get his arms... If he was around now, where would he buy his weapons from? Russia?
The question is, where should we be investing our money? What should be the direction of our country? The fact that £5 billion every year of public taxes is put in to subsidise the arms industry, I think is problematic. We can put that money into different manufacturing. We have a huge climate change challenge.
Should we have an arms industry? Should we have an arms industry?
Yes, we should have an arms industry.
We can survive without one. 0.2% of the workforce.
Yes, we should have an arms.
Douglas Murray's stance on Britain's arms trade is rooted in a pragmatic understanding of global politics and economics. He contends that it is both moral and necessary for Britain to engage in arms trading, emphasizing the economic benefits and the critical role that arms play in national and global security. Murray acknowledges the ethical concerns, but argues that the key lies in responsible trading practices. Firstly, Murray highlights the economic significance of the arms trade for Britain. The defense industry is a substantial part of the British economy, providing thousands of jobs and contributing significantly to the national GDP. The production and export of arms not only support high-skilled manufacturing jobs, but also drive technological innovation that can have broader applications beyond defense. For instance, advancements in aerospace and cybersecurity often originate from defense research and development. Moreover, Murray argues that arms are an essential component of a country's defense capabilities. In a world where threats to national security are ever present, maintaining a robust and technologically advanced military is crucial.
True.
Selling arms to allied nations helps to build and sustain these defense capabilities.
Also true.
Ensuring that both Britain and its allies are better equipped to protect themselves against potential threats. This, in turn, contributes to global stability by ensuring that responsible nations can deter aggression and maintain peace. Contrary to the argument that Britain's arms trade fuels conflicts in the Middle East, Murray asserts that wars and violence in the region have been a historical constant, driven by complex geopolitical, religious, and ethnic factors. The presence of arms, whether supplied by Britain or other sources, is not the root cause of these conflicts. Historical evidence shows that the Middle East has seen significant bloodshed long before the modern arms trade, utilizing a variety of weapons and tactics. For example, the conflicts during the Ottoman Empire and tribal wars in the Arabian Peninsula occurred long before modern weaponry was introduced.
Exactly.
Murray's solution to the ethical dilemma of arms trading is to ensure that Britain sells weapons to responsible and stable governments, much like the analogy of not giving a dangerous weapon to a child. This means rigorous vetting processes and strict export controls to ensure that arms are not sold to regimes with poor human rights records or those likely to use them irresponsibly. The UK already has stringent arms export regulations in place, designed to prevent the misuse of British-manufactured weapons. These include adherence to international treaties such as the Arms Trade Treaty, which aims to prevent arms from being used to commit atrocities. An interesting insight that further supports Murray's argument is the role of arms sales in diplomatic relations. Arms deals often go hand in hand with strategic alliances, helping to cement political and military partnerships. For instance, arms sales to NATO allies and other friendly nations strengthen these alliances and contribute to a collective security framework that benefits global stability. These relationships can provide Britain with geopolitical leverage and influence, enhancing its ability to promote peace and stability on the global stage. Additionally, it is worth noting that other major arms-producing countries, such as the United States, Russia, and China, are actively engaged in the global arms market. If Britain were to withdraw from this market, it would not stop the flow of arms, but would merely cede ground to these other powers. This could potentially lead to less scrupulous arms trading practices, as not all countries adhere to the same high standards as Britain. By remaining a key player, Britain can help set and enforce international norms and standards for the responsible trade of arms.
Yes, we have to have...
Douglas, we sold arms to the Israelis, and they used those arms and components, certainly, when they were bombing the Gaza Strip. Was that justifiable morally?
Yes, I mean, if an allied country who you're selling arms to, I don't think we do actually have an arms trade at all with Israel anymore.
We do.
The last government,
91
William Hague,
export licenses
William
last year.
Hague made this after the Gaza intervention, if I remember right. But look, I mean, the point is this: is that you know what Salma says is well, there's a time coming when we could just convert our arms industry to a green windmill production industry. I think it's fantasy. There is always going to because first of all, people will always there will always be wars. There will always be wars because there will always be the need for deterrence, even without people using it as well.
Dictatorships.
And hang on. if you let me finish. Because, as I've already said, there will be governments that are responsible allies whom it's perfectly fine to sell arms to. In my opinion, it's a legal trade.
Libya was a responsible ally? Algeria, Tunisia, Egypt, Saudi Arabia?
No, we're going to agree on all of this. If you just stop interrupting me, you'll find out that we're in agreement. Which is that, of course, Libya was not a respectable government. Of course not. Nobody should sell arms to a madman like Gaddafi and his family. But no, I don't know. Of course that's not the case.
Okay, but who would you sell arms to? Who would you sell arms to with a clear conscience?
I think that, for instance, somebody mentioned it earlier, it's perfectly
Israel?
responsible to say, yeah, absolutely, India, and many
Israel,
other
despite
countries.
the fact it's broken so many international laws, they don't adhere to the rule of
We're not
law.
going to get on to your pet obsession of Israel.
No, I think it's
hard as I try.
But the thing is this: is, as I say, there are people he will sell arms to who will be responsible governments like the British government and our allies. But there will be other sort of tyrants who will turn them on their own people, and we should never.
Well, personally, I don't think there's literally anyone you can sell arms to with a clear conscience. Because humans have conflicting emotions every day, you know? If it's based on the sole individual, at times you get angry, at times you get sad, at times you get jealous, at times you get happy. What happens when you feel down or you get mad and the cause of a problem is just a few blocks away and you have a loaded gun ready to shoot with no self-will? Or you get sad and down, you're tired of life, and you have a loaded gun ready to blow. What then? The thing is, you can't fully control the arms market. Yes, you can say that some countries are definitely more respectable or have more standards than others when dealing with arms, but you can't control the arms market because in every organization there must just be a Judas. There must just be someone who wants to exploit it for his own selfish gains. I mean, bandits, robbers, terrorists having the latest sophisticated weaponry and technology doesn't come from the source, if I'm to put it that way. Okay, let's say Britain, for example, they export ammunition and all that. When giving this to allied countries, it's very possible that someone on either side of the government might choose to sabotage a section of this export down to the terror zone. What then? It happens. I mean, I'm just using this as an example, but it happens. It's possible. There must just be someone willing to sabotage the entire thing. And according to Salma, the arms market actually benefits from the conflicts, which is true. You know, just like every other occupation in the world. A lawyer has no job if there are no cases in court. A doctor has no job, literally, if people are not sick. An engineer has no job if there's no power failure, if there's nothing to check up in the house electrical wise. A plumber has no job if toilets and, I could go on and on. But every work sector, because the arms trade is a work sector, and every work sector has their, good days, or they have their drive ups, something that keeps them on the high side, something that fuels their market. That's be a most appropriate sentence, something that fuels their market. And the conflict actually does it. Now, in a place where guns are licensed to individuals, how are you sure that the individual who's about to purchase that gun isn't mentally imbalanced? I mean, people go to great lengths to hide such things from their reports, so you may not know on time, and you find it out later when the damage has already been done. And as Douglas pointed out, the export of weapons to allied nations doesn't necessarily aid the terrorism in the Middle East. It doesn't, because even before modern weaponry was involved, people still go head on with swords, knives, hands, and that type of thing. Before guns, bombs, and all that was in play, people were still going to war. And just like he said, total, complete peace isn't practically possible right now. I mean, it's still a fairy tale in the society now, because, as Douglas said, there must still be leaders, there must still be dictators, there must still be people wanting to start a conflict over one thing or the other. So complete peace isn't necessarily possible. And in a situation where you don't supply arms to countries who may need it to defend themselves against others that may want to attack them, then it's going to be a bloodshed at the end of the day. And that's the honest truth. So the arms are needed here for self-defense. The soldiers need the arms. And as Douglas said, the strength of a country is in their defense. If their allied countries don't have the necessary weaponry for combat rather, how can they call on them in terms of need? Because definitely at one time or the other, war must arise. That's the truth. And basically, to answer that question, I don't think there's anyone that can actually be sold ammunition with a clear conscience. That's just the honest truth. Guys, I'm pretty sure you guys enjoyed this video. So please leave a thumbs up at the end of this video and leave your comments in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Stay safe.